Hi, we're going to begin our look at the steps of a data science process by analyzing COVID-19 data. So the first thing we have to do is figure out where we're going to get our data from. So if I did a COVID-19 data, if I do a search on that, I'm going to come up with some different data trackers and some different sources of data. And I'll tell you, I have done a little look in advance, and I found a couple of data sites. Here's one. Here's one on GitHub that is the New York Times COVID-19 data. And you will see there's CSV files here that I could import. I also found a Johns Hopkins website that has the COVID-19 data. And I liked the Johns Hopkins website a little better just because if you see here, it gives me a lot of details on their data sources and gives me more information about what they have done with the data before it gets here. So I'm going to use the Johns Hopkins website for my data sets. And as I look there, I am going to see, okay, let's see. Let's look at these. And there are some data sets here in the time series that I think are the ones that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use these data sets as my starting point. So one of the first things we have to do is to identify where we're going to get our data and if there are any problems with that. Then we have to read in our data and see what we have. And so for this, we're going to go to RStudio and read in these data sets. Now, the first thing I'm going to do in RStudio is I'm going to library in the Tidyverse packages because I use them quite a bit when I'm wrangling my data. And then I am going to read in. Now, they all begin with the same words. So I am going to put that beginning part into my URL in, and then I am simply going to append to that my file names. So I'm going to set file names to be the last parts, and then I'm going to use string concatenate to put those together so that now you can see what's in my URLs is simply a vector containing the 4 URLs that I need for these to get this data in. Okay, so now I'm going to read in those data sets. And I'm going to put them in variable names. So I'm going to use read_CSV. And the first data set is global cases. The second one is global deaths, so forth, so that I have those 4 data sets read in. Now, I'm going to look a little bit at these data sets to see what's in them. So if I look at global cases, let's see, what do I have here? I have province, state, country, region, latitude, longitude, and then I have a column for each date. Okay, so I don't need the Latin long. And so I'm going to start by cleaning this up a little bit. I'm going to get rid of the Latin long because I don't need that for the analysis I'm going to be planning. And also, I want the country, region, and province, state to be a little more R-friendly. I also want to make this what I call tidy, which means what I really would like is to have each date on a separate row, because what I'm looking at in this case is the total cases, but it's the cases per each date. So I'm going to fix all of that. So I'm going to take what I had as global cases, and I'm going to pivot longer, which means I'm going to make each one into a row, everything except the province, state, the country, region, the Latin long. the names, what was the column headings, are now going to be date, and the values will go to cases, and then I will select everything except the lat and long, and I will see then what my result is. So now let's look at what global cases looks like. So now I have more what I was looking for, right, where I can do each case. So I'm going to do a similar thing for the deaths. Here I've done a similar thing for the global deaths. Now on this section of videos, I really suggest that you stop and try out each of these things that I have done in the video. Pause the video. Be sure you can read in the data. Be sure you can tidy it up in the same fashion that I have done. You may need to look up some of these commands and see exactly how they work because you may not be used to working with the tidyverse verbs. So I suggest you stop and do that, and I'll come back and we'll do a little more cleaning up of our data.